Okay. So first things first, obviously, who is Radio Rebel to you, to us? Can give us a little.
Yeah. Radio Rebel to me is kind of this voice of empowerment. You know, she's kind of the person within you that is usually overpowered by insecurity or by uncertainty or by trends and fads and wanting to be accepted. That really just says that what's within you and what's kind of different about you and unique about you is really rad and really cool, and that's what makes you just so awesome and so beautiful. And so Radio Rebel is the person who kind of tells you to embrace it. So to me, a Radio Rebel would be like Freddie Mercury or someone who's like not afraid to just be weird and themselves and unique. And so that's that for me. But she in this story ends up becoming, she's a DJ. She's an underground kind of faceless DJ. No one really knows who she is. And she modifies her voice. And she is the voice of this school and this town and then this generation. And the more that it escalates, of course, you know, nothing successful has ever happened without people coming against it.
Right.
So she ends up kind of having to deal with a couple of people trying to bring her down and also just making peace with her own individuality and really practicing what she preaches.
That's awesome. Now, people are going to be looking up to you with this and have already looked up to you from your past and the Sweet Life and Jesse and everything like that. But as we move forward, where would you want to focus your career more on, singing or acting or like?
I you know, I don't go like a few hours without singing or percussing or beatboxing. Like I'm just a random noisemaker, and so that's something that's always going to be there. But I don't think I'll ever do it like as a career.
Right.
You know? First and foremost, it'll be an art. So acting is my career, and the more that I act and the more that I'm on sitcom sets and really learn how things work, you know, as an actor, once you kind of have gotten the comedy of it, you're like, all right, would you like me to cheat out to A camera or B camera?
Right.
And, hold on, I'm shadowing you. Let me find my light. Like, you realize the technicalities of it, and for me, I always wanted to understand, you know, from a directorial standpoint, from a producer standpoint, kind of how everything comes together. So the more that I've learned those, the more I would love to do that. I would love to direct an episode of the show or to kind of produce maybe a decom. I think that would be really fun. Just really, you know, kind of telling your stories. I feel like once you have been an actor for so long, there's a part of you that always wants to tell these stories and bring these characters to life and give them a voice. And there's also another part of you that has your own voice that you want to share. It's very Radio Rebel of me to say, but there's that part of you that just has your own stories that you want to tell.
Do you think you would want to focus more on comedy, drama, action? Like,
Right. That's a good question. I love, you know, I have an older brother growing up. It was like all about whatever we ended up watching was dependent upon like who could wrestle the remote away from the other.
Right.
So I watched a lot of Indiana Jones and Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and Star Trek.
Nice.
Every James Bond movie, and I like that. You know, I like the idea, and I remember looking at that and being like, how come none of these people are chicks? Like, where are the awesome girl action heroes who aren't like, wow, she's pretty strong for a girl.
Right.
But like, dude, she's hardcore. And when I watched Mulan, I was like, she is fighting with the bros. And she's like kicking butt. And that's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be like Mulan or Lara Croft or whomever. So I feel like that would be a really fun thing to explore. But I don't know. There's something about sitcom, and even growing up, I Love Lucy and Laverne and Shirley and Friends, just these multi-camera sitcoms I love. And I feel like that's always going to have a good place in my heart.
That's very cool. And it's also been talked about that you would want to have your own record label someday. When you see shows like American Idol, The Voice, X Factor, would you ever have done that if in an alternate universe kind of thing?
Right.
And also, like, when you start your record label, would you reach out to more of them or just like even more hidden artists?
You know what? I think that it is about finding people who get up and do something. You know, there's something to be said for someone who has a garage band, like someone who just plays guitar in the room, and someone who like goes and books gigs at coffee shops. And you know, I just discovered this little YouTube artist, and she was like, I was 12 and I was playing shows in like little bars with my dad, you know, and I was just playing and singing, and people would just go sometimes just to see me, not even drink, just go to see me. And she was like, it was really cool because she has so much soul for this little thing, and that's what I like. That's the kind of stories that I want to help tell. And you know, when I hear a song or when I hear a melody or lyrics, I automatically think about what can be built around it to kind of help tell us the story the best. And you know, right now pop culture is very into the whole electronic synthesized music, which is an art form in itself to work a MIDI keyboard, but I am so into live instruments. So I'd love to bring that back. I would love to maybe, like, I don't know, it'd be cool to have a reality show a la The Voice or a la American Idol as far as for my label, but I think it'd be more of a production label, just kind of finding songs and tracks and albums individually than farming artists. But, you know, I have a home studio with my brother, and we have people that we work with personally, we have our own tracks, we have covers that we do, and a lot of it just doesn't see the light of day, you know, because I want to be seen as an actor right now, but I don't know.
Now, with Radio Rebel and the acting, who are some people that you look up to in the acting world?
Acting world, I love fearless female comedians. I love Emma Stone, and growing up I watched tons of Amanda Bynes, and it's all about being able to be just stupid and goofy.
Right.
You know, it's all sorts of fearless to be able to be goofy and bold about it. And I feel like it's not even just Amanda Bynes goofy, but it's very like Jason Reitman goofy, where it's kind of very straight-faced. And there's a famous Woody Allen quote that's basically like, the difference between drama and comedy is that in drama, the important things are very important and the unimportant is very unimportant. And in comedy, the unimportant is very important and the important is very unimportant. And that is so true. I like people like Emma Stone who could just say things matter-of-factly that are hilarious.
Right.
The Ellen Pages who have kind of pioneered their own brand of comedy. Tina Fey, who's like a mogul. She does it all. I like that. I like that she can write and produce and improvise and act, and I think that's fun.
Now, when you're away from acting, away from music, is your facing like a Hunger Games book? Are you Twihard, Bieber Fever? Like what outside obsessions do you have?
Let's see. I do read a bunch, but it's typically like C.S. Lewis.
That's all right. Hey, nothing wrong with that.
I'm kind of a nerd, and I actually am about to delve into. I've seen the Lord of the Rings movies countless times, and I've never read the books.
Okay. That's an undertaking.
Yeah, it's an undertaking. And that's the thing, I don't want to half do it. I really want to like maul the books. So I think that's what's going to happen. But I don't know. I play music with my buddies. I bake a little bit. Because I'm the least domestic person in the world.
Right.
I'm a huge tomboy. I can climb any tree. I can whatever. But baking is something that I've yet to, you know, and my mom told me like last year, she was like, listen, Debbie, one day, if you get married, your husband can't live on pizza rolls, you know? And so I was like, all right, I'm gonna learn how to do something. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Right.
And, you know, I don't have a lot of, I write a ton. I'm constantly writing lyrics or poems or prose or whatever, so that's fun.
And you do all these interviews, whether it's on a carpet or here or on the radio. Is there anything that someone hasn't ever asked you that you just want out there that just like isn't on Wikipedia or isn't on like, is there something that we should know about you that like people don't necessarily know about you that you'd like to know?
Nobody has ever asked me why I sit so weird. I do always like...
Is it comfortable? I mean, it looks like you're comfortable.
Yeah,
so.
no, I can like fall asleep like crisscross applesauce. I grew up like in gymnastics, so I'm just kind of weird and bendy. I'm like double jointed and you can't really tell.
Use it to your advantage, like for stunts and stuff.
For stunts, there you go. Yeah, that's pretty much what no one's ever asked me.
Very cool. And then finally, like you were talking about Tina Fey, and if we saw you on like Saturday Night Live kind of thing, would you want to bring a certain character to it, or would you want to go into characters that are already there? Like
I have a couple characters that I love. There's like a character named Lauren from the Catherine Tate sketch show, and she's very much like a rude girl. She's very much like, I'm not bothered though. Do I look bothered? Like, look at me, look at my face. Do I look bothered? Because I'm not. I'm really not bothered.
That's pretty good.
So she's like really funny, and so I would love to do something like that, like something just kind of like really London rude girl. I would love to do. I've always been fascinated with like like flight attendants, like people who have to like appear perky
Right.
while saying the exact same thing multiple times a day. Like, please exit to your left. Thank you. Please exit to your left. Thank you. Please exit to your left. Thank you. Like, it's hilarious to me. I just find comedy in really bizarre things, though. So
Nothing wrong
I
with
feel
that.
like if I were to do SNL, some really funny things would come out. Bizarre things.
We need it, so get on that show.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
Well, Radio Rebel, looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Actually, really looking forward to it. And
Good.
if people see me on the site, they would never expect that. But it's going to be awesome. I can't wait for it. So continued success, and I really appreciate taking the time.
Thank you. I hope
Awesome.
everyone digs the movie.
Oh, they will.
Good.